What is up? I hope you're having a kick-ass day as always. In this video, we're going to be talking about how most people don't fail at ads because Meta is broken or your offer doesn't work with ads, or my favorite line, my business just doesn't work with ads. We're going to be talking about how most people fail at ads because they suck at it. They suck at paid advertising and they have no idea what they're doing, right? So stick around because it's going to be a really impactful video. And we're going to go over the 10 biggest mistakes that I see when people are running paid ads. And if you're new to this channel, then make sure to click that subscribe button, because on this channel, all we talk about is how to play bigger, how to play life bigger, how to play the game of business bigger. Everyone knows that there is levels. Whether you're making 7 figures a year or 7 figures a month, there is different levels to play this game bigger. And that's what we're all about here, is showing you how to play it bigger, as well as how to create 7-figure machines that turn into 8-figure systems so that you can live free. So I'm super excited because this is actually going to be a good one. So inside here now, little disclaimer. Also, yeah, like to like, subscribe, you know, all that BS YouTube stuff. Let me know in the comments, yada, yada, yada. With this, so the 10 biggest mistakes. I'm not going to go crazy in depth on every single one of these. I'm going to give you the 10 biggest mistakes. There's going to be corresponding videos around the channel that are going to go more in depth on these, because each one of these mistakes can be, honestly, hours of long training. But there's going to be other videos that you can go to. And if there's not a video, let me know in the comments, hey, there isn't this video yet. I'd really love to see it. Or if you have other questions or other things, always pop it down below. All right, number one. All right, we're going to go with CAPI plus pixel setup is just so far off, right? A lot of people within this, they have like broken, either A, it's just broken tracking, or they have what they think is set up, but it's not actually working, right? So not installed, right? So not just installed, but working, and working properly. That's one of the big things that we really want. So what does working properly mean? That there is not duplicate events, which always happens. So many people have these. So conversions. So there's not duplicate conversions. There's also a dedupe system and process and installed. So that is working, and totally might have misspelled that. You can make fun of me in the comments. I don't really care. We're more transparent here. You have things that are getting misfired. You also have where there's a server-side attribution that's not actually getting going to the actual ads platform, and it's also not speaking to the ads platform. Your CAPI setup is not even actually talking properly, right? You need conversion API set up. You need your pixels actually talking, and you need to have the right data sets that are going on. So Meta is, a lot of times when this is not set up correctly, Meta is getting trash signals, like, and just horrible data, and that's not going to help you scale at all. And then you're blaming the platform, when in reality it's your setup and it's what you're actually doing inside there. So if you're tracking lies, your optimization dies, right? So you need to make sure that you're capping your pixel and everything that is set up properly. The next thing that's going to go in there is your pixel conditioning system. This is another big one that so many people mess up. And the reason why they mess this up is because they give all data. And they basically will do all data talk to the pixel, which is not how you want to do it. You want to make sure that your pixel is like guarded, right? This is your baby. This is your daughter. This is your one and only child, right? In reality, a daughter that you don't want anyone to corrupt. You don't want anyone to go down the wrong way. You want to protect your daughter, right? You want to protect your baby. And that is what this pixel is for. What I mean by that, all the thugs, the jackasses, and the lowlifes, you want those not to talk to your daughter, right? Not to talk to your pixel. So basically, no bad leads and bad data go to the pixel. Those go nowhere, all right? So the way that you typically have a page, let's just say for an example, you have a call funnel, right? So let's just say we have a call funnel, super simple, right? we have our application. On this application, we also have questions, right? One question is going to take them to a DQ page saying, hey, we're not even going to let you finish your application. Or B, hey, we don't even want you to be able to book a call because you are just not our market, right? Then you're going to have another page that will have a thank you once they book. And the reason why I say once they book is because this application is an application plus calendar. You want to make sure you have that tech stack. If you want to learn more about that, should be a video all about call funnels and how to really dive into those. But then you have a thank you page that has no conversion, i.e., it does not have anything with a what's it called? With an actual like event on it, standard event. So there is no call booked on here, right? Call scheduled. That fire or that event is not on this page. It's on this one, right? You have another thank you that does have the conversion, aka this is on there. So then that way we can put lower end leads, or what I like to call Leo leads, which just says lower engagement opportunity, which means we can still sell them, we can still make some money off them. They're still our market, but they are not the high qualified ones that go here, right? And then this one actually goes back and talks to the pixel. Again, we're only sending good quality data to this pixel to actually have, right? So pixel conditioning is the other one. Number 3 is going to be that they only test 1 to 5 creatives, right? It is crazy in today's world with Andromeda and just the way even the world is in general. You should always just have this creative like 1 to 5 test. Like honestly, when we launch campaigns, we will launch them with 25 plus. Hell, if I can get 50, I'm all for it, right? But 25 plus at a minimum in reality should be 15, right? And you want the more surplus. You want more creatives and more diverse messaging in those creatives, which we'll talk a little bit about in another, basically the next one. But you want to have a ton of creatives, right? So make sure you have 15 creatives that can talk to different people. That gives you more data. So many people like to go the long way. And I like to get data quicker, right? I want to test things faster. I want to get to the result quicker. So that's how we're going to do this, is by having a lot more creatives and truly testing out a lot more messaging. And the other thing too is, out of like even this 15 right here, right? You might even get like maybe 2 to 3 winners, right? Like there's going to be a ton that are not going to be that great. And the other thing too is once these 2 to 3 winners are doing good, there's automatically not going to get equal spend to all of them, right? The platform is going to be smart in what they're doing. So then you can actually continue to keep testing, right? Again, not going to go crazy in depth. I can go off on all of these. Next thing is diverse messaging, okay? This is one of the big ones that a lot of people are messing up. They are constantly, they'll have like, basically say 2 body ads, aka the meat and bone of your actual like ad creative, and then they'll record 5 different hooks, right? And maybe they'll do 2 different call to actions, and then they'll put these all together to then create about 20 ads, right? But in reality, because these are basically all the same, it does not matter nowadays, especially in the age of Andromeda, and especially where your creative equals your targeting, okay? This is what the platforms, and especially Meta, really does. Your creative is the targeting. So what you want to do is have diverse messaging where, honestly, record individual scripts. Right? Record, let's just say all scripts. This is where you want individual scripts that you record, that you test, that also talk about different issues, different reasons, talk about different reasons, and problems that they may have, different parts of your market, different areas of where they could be in, different things that can get them in for the same offer and product that you can talk to, right? There's another video that goes into the whole like basically a bubble map that you can make to think of a bunch of different ways to kind of say the same thing and talk about it to create multiple messaging, right? Next thing is test audiences, right? So this is another mistake I see. Some people just use one audience, and a lot of times people are using like really hardcore. A lot of people are still just doing a crazy interest stack, and that's really it. Test multiple audiences. In reality, I will say that broad is where we are going, and it has been going for a while, right? And majority of the times, it's always going to kind of default to broad. And this is kind of like just where things are going, where they're going to be. However, still to this day, we still test multiple different audiences. To give you some little game really quick, we'll do a lookalike 1%. Lookalike 1% from our top customers, right? You can do all customers depending on how big your size is. If you have a huge amount of customers, hey, get those top dogs, those top ones, and then get your top customers, create a lookalike off that one. We'll do an interest stack, and we typically have a very specific interest stack that we like to do to not only get the market that we're going after, depending on what niche we're in, but also to get the more people that have money, right? The more people that want to buy, the more in-market buyers and the ones that actually have money to buy. The next thing that you always want to do is a broad audience, right? Always going to have those. And the next one is a warm one, right? Have a warm audience asset too, especially if you're on social media, if you have a following, if you have engagement, if you have things on that side, definitely use a warm audience. Test out people that already know you, right? The other thing too is just test out your audiences overall. Another one, and this is kind of hilarious, right? And by the way, none of these are in order. This is just me just talking to you. So none of these are in order. Otherwise, I would put them in different order. They're not in order of importance. They're not orders from first to last, any of that, right? But the other thing, too, is so many people don't create a financial model, which is hilarious, right? So this is where most people don't even know what a cost per lead can be, what a cost per registration, right? Cost per booked call, what a cost per acquisition or your CAC has to kind of be around. No one knows like, hey, how much does it cost us to have a call show up? No one even knows their break even, cost per acquisition or cost to acquire a customer, back end conversions, cash flow tolerance. They just launch ads and they have no idea what good looks like. Like they have zero clue. So know your numbers. This is a huge, huge one. Is do a financial model, right? Marketing is math. It's numbers. That's just business. So if you don't know your numbers, every decision becomes emotional and you don't really know what metrics you're actually doing. Now, with this, then comes in, kind of funny enough, is track your numbers and actually have a legit system in place. So this is like I'll tell you this, don't trust just the ads manager, right? I wish it could, but don't, right? We use a lot of different tools and softwares and things when we do it. One of the biggest things is we have our own Google sheet of all the top data so that we can look at that. And it's a lot of times pulled in by humans and then obviously helped out with AI. But this is where inside here, we have our core metrics, right? Again, I'm going to use a call funnel for an example, but I then can look and I know what my click-through rate is. I know what our application completion is, so AKA what our landing page is doing. I then actually know what our engagement rate is. I know what our show rate is. I know what our closing rate is. I know what our average order value is, right? How much are we actually collecting cash? What's the ROAS? What's the dollars per booked call? right? We have this all on a sheet that's all being tracked. So you're not optimizing. If you're just like throwing things out there and you're just trying to look at different numbers and you're looking at your ads manager and you don't fully have things concrete in what you're looking at, you're not optimizing, you're just guessing, right? So data is only powerful when it's connected end to end, and you really want to track whatever it is, click to close, right? You want to know the entire process that they actually go through so you can know that, right? Next one is going to be the hope marketing. I don't feel like I need to explain this. It kind of goes into everything above, right? And what you're about to learn down below. But it is just throwing stuff out there. That's it. And really having no strategy, no financial model, no data, no things that they need to look at, no funnel MRI sheet. They're not looking at any analysis, no audits. Hope is not a strategy. And hope is what people use when they don't have a system. They don't have strategies. You're on this channel. You're looking at stuff. You can actually get real stuff, real results just from here. All right? So let's not run it and see. Maybe it will turn around. It is not doing hopeful marketing. All right? One of the other things that I see people do a lot, and it's hilarious, is they turn off profitable campaigns, which makes no sense. Okay? On here, I don't care who told you, turn that off. If you have something where you put $1 and you even get $2, right? And we're always going to look at this in a 30-day window, right? Obviously, the reason why we always do a 30-day window, right? Because this is when your credit card comes through, right? This is when you're billing. This is your cycle. So we want to turn $1 into as much money as possible in those 30 days. And then after is still pure profit, right? It still goes to what we're looking at. This is why we will always look at cash collected, and we will also look at contract value. I like cash collected. We all like to get as much cash as humanly possible in the front end, as businesses need cash. The other thing that we're not going to ignore, though, is contract value and LTV, right? Because those are also things that are going to help us within our front end marketing. So if a campaign is profitable, I am making money back, it's stable, it's predictable, right? We know the numbers with it, but it's not hitting your dream number yet. That doesn't mean turn it off. Turning it off is stupid, right? That is just saying, I don't like money. I don't like results. I don't want to grow my business. I want to turn this off. This is not a 3x. This is not a 5x. This is not a 10x. I'm not doing it. Now, if you are losing money, then yeah, turn it off or fix it, right? We have another video on the channel that can show you how to fix things on that side. But this is where you can scale, like truly scale comes from optimizations, little improvements over time, and not just nuking something that is working for you, all right? So don't turn off the profitable campaign. And the last one is split test, but don't split test your way to poverty, all right? A lot of people split test way too much, right? Way too much. And then this is where they also don't have the budget for it. So don't do everything at once. Because if you do everything at once, you don't really know what's going to get you the result. The other thing too that's going to go with it is have a budget for it, so you actually can test it out. And the other thing too is just know when you're split testing, you are saying, I'm okay with losing this money, right? Bye-bye. You're okay with that. And the reason why is because we're gambling. We really are. We either A, are going to get a better result that will get us more, or lose. It's win or lose. That's it. But that's part of having a budget. What are we actually testing so we're not doing everything at once? So that way we can either get a result or we lose. But hey, when you lose, lessons are still good. Not like knowing what not to do is still good. That's still good data, right? As long as you're learning from your lessons, that's still good data to have. The other thing with split testing too is make sure you actually have a control, which is your campaign, right? You don't touch this. You keep this. Don't touch it, right? And then you have whatever you are split test. That is why it's called a split test. The amount of times I see people make changes to the control, then the control goes down, and then you start getting bad results, and then they go into a freaking spiral, and they don't know what the hell they're doing, right? You have a split test. You're testing a headline. You're testing a creative. Maybe you're testing an audience, right? You can be testing a lot of different things, but you are testing one specific thing, all right? Don't destroy your control. Otherwise, you're going to reset everything, all right? So now, these are the 10 mistakes I see people make constantly. Make sure you're not doing these. If you need some more information, if you want to learn a little bit more, let me know. Down below, you also will see there is going to be a training for you, a special exclusive training going over the top of my marketing method. That is our training that showcases to you how to run your marketing like the companies that are like Nike, Apple, Coca-Cola, Adidas, all those big brands, how you can market like them, how you can do the branding, how you can get the same effect with a way smaller budget. And that is the true way to scale and the true way to actually get over the noise and get more customers. So I hope you found value in this video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it down below. Hope you have a kick-ass day, and then I'll see you in another video.